What's the story, guys? It's me, one of your boys, V1 here, at the helm of my very first ever solo OSW gaming review. That's right, Jay has finally taken off the training wheels and sent me out into the big boy world to review things by myself. And what have I chosen as my first ever solo review? Well, it's a game series that's near and dear to my heart. One that anyone who's been listening to OSW for any amount of time knows that I like to bang on about any chance that I'm given. That's right, it's Destiny 2. And your review is coming up right now.
Who are you?
Why have you been watching us?
I don't even have time to explain why I don't have time to explain.
Destiny 1's single player campaign was a bit bollocks. It featured some terribly written characters. Looking at you, stranger, with your I don't have the time to explain why I don't have the time to explain. Fuck off. What lazy writing. And she wasn't the only terribly written character in this game. You also had characters like the Speaker, who is basically a prophet and claims to speak for the Traveler and says absolutely nothing. And of course, Destiny 1 also has maybe the worst top heel enemy I've ever seen in a game. It's not even a fucking person. What you're fighting is a shard of the Traveler, which time traveling robots worship as a god and use its power to turn fucking statues into 3 enemies that you kill. That's it. Seriously, Bungie dropped the ball so badly with Destiny 1's plot that I honestly didn't think that they'd be able to salvage it at all. But I'm very happy to say Destiny 2's single player campaign is really fucking good. Right off the bat, Destiny 2 has an excellent main event heel in Gaul, who is the commanding officer of the Red Legion and leader of the Cabal army. Gaul has come to Earth to take all of the Traveler's light and turn himself into a god. His massive Red Legion fleet destroys the tower, putting him over super fucking strong. Then he captures the Traveler's light, batters our character, kicks us off his ship, leaves us for dead, ruins the tower and Earth's last city, captures the Speaker, tortures him to find out how to utilize the Traveler's light, and is basically just an all-round awesome enemy. So Bungie, well fucking done. Gaul is an awesome character. Bungie have also improved the single player campaign in just about every other facet. There's better writing, better side characters, and there's an actual reason to do what we're doing other than just being told by random side characters. And also, no more stranger. Oh yes. We also get some cutscenes which focus on Gaul's plan. These are excellently made cutscenes and also flesh out Gaul's motivations and reasons for doing what he's doing. Most of the side characters are also vastly improved over their Destiny 1 versions. Commander Zavala, Cade 6 and Cora Ray are way better than in Destiny 1, as is the Speaker. There are also some pretty cool new characters, such as the badass sniper Hawthorne, Ashermere, the slightly dodgy awoken character with the Vex arm, and my personal favourite, the multiple personality having AI Failsafe. She's an awesome character. One of her personalities is a ditzy blonde California girl, and her second is a really bitter middle-aged woman. Listening to them bicker back and forth is very entertaining. Destiny 2's plot sees your Guardian travelling to the European Dead Zone looking for a way to regain its light, then travelling to Titan, Nessus and Io, searching for the Vanguard leaders in order to get the band back together to go on one final Mass Effect 2 type suicide mission, take out Gaul, save the Traveler and save Earth. And I have to say that I thoroughly enjoyed all of Destiny 2's 6 to 8 hour single player campaign, and it's light years better than Destiny 1's, and I don't think that you could really ask for more than that. So, big dirty gorilla thumbs up for Bungie here. Well done, guys. Destiny 1 was a good looking game, but Bungie have gone beyond and made Destiny 2 much better looking than Destiny 1. Honestly, Bungie have created some of the most beautiful skyboxes I've ever seen. Looking up in this game is an absolute pleasure. Textures are sharp, particle effects are much improved over the first game. Character models have improved drastically also. I have to give a special mention to the 4 planets. Earth is gorgeous with its lush green foliage, broken down buildings and rusted cars. Nessus is a beautiful looking playable area. It's a very alien looking planet with lots of vibrant greens, whites and reds, mixed in with the incredible looking Vex architecture. This is one of the coolest looking areas in the entire game. Io, one of Jupiter's moons, is also really cool looking, although personally it's probably my least favourite area. I feel it looks a little bit too much like Nessus, but it really doesn't have that one awesome looking thing to separate it from the pack. Lastly is Titan. Titan is a huge methane gas giant, so it's basically just a massive bright blue ocean with some very cool broken down man-made structures in it. Titan has one feature which I have to talk about. When you look up, Saturn dominates what you see, and there's a really cool Easter egg hidden up in Saturn's rings. If you look closely at Saturn's ring, there's a fairly sizable hole in it, which was caused by Org's ship in the Taken King DLC. I love this little touch. There are some other very memorable sights in this game. Firstly, there's the ruined tower. There are the mountaintops on your journey to the farm. And of course, my personal favourite moment of the entire game, which is the second last mission set aboard Gaul's super weapon. This is unbelievably beautiful, and Bungie's art team just did a fabulous job, as is the backdrop for the final battle with Gaul. I just have to give a special mention to the raid. Seriously, Bungie's art team, oh my god, give yourself a clap on the back. You've made a stunning piece of art here. Destiny 2 overall is a beautiful looking game. So Bungie have outdone themselves, except for one thing. And honestly, is a pretty minor thing. But for some reason, flame textures in this game just look pants. Honestly, this doesn't take away from a beautiful looking game at all. It's just a very minor thing. But it wouldn't be fair if I didn't actually mention it. So Destiny 2's graphics get a big thumbs up here. So far, Destiny 2 has improved in pretty much every facet, but surely there's no way that Bungie were able to top Destiny 1's soundtrack without having Marty O'Donnell at the helm, right? Honestly, Destiny 2's soundtrack is every bit of Destiny 1's equal, if not even better. I really didn't think that Bungie were going to be able to do it, but holy fuck, Destiny 2's soundtrack is whopper. There's a couple of real standout tracks here. First of all, Destiny 2's intro song, Inner Light, is lovely. I personally think it's much better than Destiny 1's intro track. Other notable tracks are Towerfall, which is a very intense song used in the first mission. It actually sounds a bit like the Steve Austin track from Gears of War 1 that Jay loves. You know, the one that goes meh 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 meh. Other notable tracks are Lost, Light and Journey, which are both taken from early missions in the game where your lightless guardian is searching for the farm. These are really slow, somber, beautiful songs that do a wonderful job of matching the tone of the earlier missions. Other notable tracks that I think are worth a listen to are Battle Stations and the awesome track taken from the second last mission set aboard Gaul's super weapon called the Almighty. As I mentioned earlier, this is my favourite part of the entire game, and I believe that this track really helps by matching what's going on screen so well. So yeah, Destiny 2 soundtrack is an absolute winner. It was much better than I thought it was ever going to be. Definitely without Marty O'Donnell. Bungie have done an amazing job, and once again, thumbs up. Other than the soundtrack, Destiny 2's sound is excellent. Guns sounded crisp. They all have their own personality. You can actually recognize certain guns by just hearing them, which is awesome. Other than that, ships sound cool, sparrows sound cool. You know, it's all good. It's all gravy, guys. Destiny may have had many areas in which it was lacking, such as plot or content. There was one thing that Bungie got absolutely right, and that was Destiny's second to second gameplay. And I'm very happy to say that Destiny 2 iterates, changes a couple of things, and is just as good as it ever was. I'd argue it's top of the class when it comes to first person shoot 'em up games. Moving around, jumping, aiming, shooting, landing headshots, it's all the fucking best. What they have done is add in a couple of things. Luckily enough, Bungie know that they got the movement and gunplay perfect, so they've basically left it untouched from the first game. What they have done is change a couple of the gaming systems. And in all fairness, it's a bit of a mixed bag. Firstly, Bungie have reworked the subclass system in Destiny 2. With these changes comes a brand new subclass type for each class. Hunters lose the Arc Blade, and in its place have gained the Arc Strider, which I personally love. This is my favourite subclass in the entire game, and what's not to love about it? It basically turns you into an electrified Darth Maul, which is just fucking awesome. Titans have lost their Defender subclass, and in its place have gained the Sentinel subclass, which basically turns you into Captain fucking America. This is amazeballs. It's probably my second favourite subclass in the entire game. And last but not least, actually, fuck that. Last but definitely least are the Warlocks. Warlocks have lost their Sunsinger class and have gained the Dawnblade class, which gives them a giant flaming sword. They can jump up in the air, hover, and rain down fiery death on everything. However, not all of the subclass changes are actually good. Destiny gave you lots of choice with your subclass. There were dozens of different perks and attributes to choose from. You could pick and choose based on how you wanted to play, based on the type of mission you were going to do, or just personal preference. However, Destiny 2 has pared all of that choice back, and what they've given you are two rigid choices. Both of these choices are fun, but I don't understand why Bungie took out the choice. It just seems like you're moving backwards here, and I think that's a big negative. Bungie have also totally overhauled the gun system. Destiny 1, you had a choice of primary, secondary and heavy. This is all gone now, and in its place we're given kinetic, energy and power. And I personally think this is a much better system because what it gives you is choice. Kinetic weapons are auto rifles, pulse rifles, scout rifles, hand cannons and sidearms. Energy weapons are the same, The only difference being that energy weapons also have an elemental burn, which is used to take down enemy shields. What this new system does is it enables players to choose the weapons that they want. So if you love auto rifles, there's no reason that you can't have an auto rifle as your kinetic weapon and also as your energy weapon, or any other weapon combination that takes your fancy. This is a great system that really puts the choice back in players' hands, and I'm a huge fan of it. Power weapons have also seen lots of changes. Destiny 1's power weapons consisted of rocket launchers, heavy machine guns and swords. Destiny 2 has taken away shotguns, snipers and fusion rifles out of the energy weapon slot, and it's added these to the power weapon slots along with a couple of other weapon types such as grenade launchers, line fusion rifles, and one awesome new weapon called the Ward Coil Cliff, which is a massive rocket launcher that fires a barrage of rockets at enemies. Bungie have also added particle cannons to the mix, which are basically laser fucking rifles, and what's not cool about that, eh? So as happy as I am about some of the gameplay changes that Bungie have made, I'm also just as disappointed by the aspects of the game that Bungie haven't changed, namely mission structure. So in the first game, most missions consisted of you moving your way through levels, shooting enemies, coming up to a larger area and taking out waves of enemies while your ghost hacked into something. I'm very sad to say that for the most part, Destiny 2's missions follow the exact same template. I was really hoping for Bungie to just come up with multiple set piece types, keep mission after mission fresh, and keep the players from feeling like they're doing the same thing over and over again. Bungie have really let me down here. Luckily enough, Bungie do break up the monotony of doing the same thing over and over again by adding in some jumping puzzles and vehicle sections. One later mission is an awesome tank mission which is reminiscent of the mission on the bridge in Halo 2. Kudos to Bungie for trying to keep things fresh and add in some mission variety. One change that I fucking love is the brand new map system. So in Destiny 1, every time that you wanted to go to a new area, you were forced to go back to orbit and sit through a loading screen, only then to sit through a second fucking loading screen after you chose your next destination. What a terrible design choice. Thank God Bungie fixed this for Destiny 2. Now you can just open up your map, choose a new area or a new planet, and then just go there. Luckily, you only have to sit through one fucking loading screen. Another area of the game that Bungie have improved dramatically are strikes. Destiny 1's were decent but felt like longer missions, whereas Destiny 2's have seen wholesale changes. One, they look much better. Bungie's art team have gone to fucking town here, making areas which wouldn't look out of place in a raid. 2. The boss changes. Destiny 1 bosses were all very similar. They were big bullet sponges which took tons of damage and just spat out ads at you. Destiny 2's bosses have seen some big changes. They are more dynamic. Each boss now has its own gimmick. The best way to put it is that Destiny 2's bosses are like a midway point between Destiny 1 bosses and the raid boss. Bungie have also added in new puzzles in the strikes. Rather than just taking out waves of baddies over and over again, they've added in things like sync plates, laser walls, jumping puzzles, and things to keep it fresh. However, where they've gone wrong is how you play these strikes. Destiny 1, you could just open up a map, pick an area, pick a strike and play it. And for some bizarre reason, Bungie have taken out this option. The only way to play a strike is to enter in through the strike list. You just get put into the same fucking strike over and over and over again. Seriously, I was trying to capture just a little bit of footage from each strike, but it just kept unloading me into the same two, and it actually took me a couple of hours to play all 6. This is fucking ridiculous. I don't see why Bungie just couldn't add in the option to open up a map, go onto Earth, choose this one, and then load in. Simple. But no. Everything is randomized, but it's just done so badly that it's basically unplayable. And I'm sure there were people playing the game, seeing me, this dickhead, loading into the mission, looking at it for 2 seconds and just leaving, and probably thinking, what an absolute cunt. And that's not my fault, that's Bungie's fault. There's no way that me as a player should be forced to play the same strike 6 times in a row. It's ridiculous. Secondly, where is my heroic strike list? Why is this gone out of the game? It was in the first game. There's no reason why it shouldn't be in the second game. These are some of the things that really bug me about the game design in Destiny 2. And I really think Bungie let themselves down here. Destiny 2's PvP has seen a major overhaul from the PvP of Destiny 1. 6v6 is gone. All PvP modes in Destiny 2 are now 4v4. I wasn't a big fan of PvP in Destiny 1 at all. I just found that it was too chaotic and just not fun. However, I actually really like Destiny 2's PvP, and I think that the changes Bungie have made to PvP in general are a huge positive. So in the first game, you could easily just run around by yourself, taking out guardians left, right and centre. And Bungie have made this type of gameplay a lot more difficult to pull off in Destiny 2. This is due to a wholesale change in just how PvP works. Destiny 2's PvP is a lot more team focused. So all of those lone wolf players are very likely to just get melted by packs of 2 or 3 players. While I'm personally a big fan of the changes Bungie have made to the PvP in Destiny 2, there are some choices that I have a huge problem with. So number 1, where is Rumble? Rumble is just a normal deathmatch mode where there are no teams and it's every man for themselves. This mode was in Destiny 1 and there's no reason why it isn't in Destiny 2. I can't wrap my head around this choice at all. Secondly, Bungie also left out private fucking matches. Destiny 1 didn't actually launch with private matches. They were introduced in year 3, but this feels like a major step backwards. Destiny 1 did get them, and there's no reason that Destiny 2 couldn't have launched with them either. And my fucking worry is that Bungie will add in both of these modes, but they're going to be hidden within a paid DLC. That makes me really fucking angry. Overall, I do think that Destiny 2's PvP is a lot better than the first game. I didn't like PvP in Destiny 1 at all. I rarely played it. And I reckon that I've already played more PvP in Destiny 2 than I did in the entire 3 years of the first game. So for me, Destiny 2's PvP also gets a big thumbs up. Next up, I'm going to talk about things that anyone that has played Destiny 1 knows all about. That is the grind. You'll be happy to know that Destiny 2's grind is nowhere near as grindy as the first game. Thank Christ. Once you beat the single player portion of the game, you're generally around power level 200. Leveling up to 265 is not that bad. You just keep on playing the game, and weapon and armor drops are usually just a couple of power levels over the weapons and armor that you currently have. You just keep on doing missions, loot caves, public events, strikes, PvP, nightfalls. Pretty much any game content will actually level you up to 265. However, once you hit level 265, everything changes and the game turns into a massive grind fest, forcing you to play some really high level content over and over again for the chance to pick up some powerful legendary and exotic gear. For me, this is where Destiny 2 turned from a really fun, awesome game that leveled you up and rewarded you for simply playing, and then turned into a really nasty grind fest that felt more like a game of chance than a game that was throwing loot at you and these awesome weapons and armor. And speaking of awesome weapons and armor, next we are going to talk about Destiny 2's loot, which, let's face it, is the single reason to keep on playing this game. In a looter shooter like Destiny 2, one of the main reasons to keep coming back and playing the game day in, day out is the promise of earning some of that sweet, sweet loot. And Destiny 2's loot is a bit hit and miss. Some of it's amazing, some of it's bollocks. So on one hand, you have some amazing weapons like Cold Heart, which is this awesome ice particle cannon. You have Sunshot, which is my personal favourite weapon. It's a beautiful and very powerful energy hand cannon. Looks fucking sweet, guys. Just look at this thing. You have Wardcliffe Coil, which is the brilliant new multiple rocket launcher, which just tears enemies apart. And of course you have Merciless, which is Destiny 2's boss killer. So there's lots of guns to chase and collect, and most of them are lots of fun to use. I do have one big issue with the guns in this game, and that is there is no super awesome weapon that everyone is chasing that gives you that crazy mark out moment when you finally get it. So what I'm saying is that Destiny 2 doesn't have its version of Yallarhorn. And I do understand Bungie's choice in not having a gun like this in Destiny 2, because everyone used this in the first game, which meant there were dozens of guns that just went unused. And Bungie didn't want this happening again in Destiny 2, but it means that what we're left with is a bunch of good to very good weapons with no truly amazing weapons. And that's just a little bit sad. Exotic guns are a little bit less awesome in Destiny 2, but even legendary weapons have also been affected by the changes that Bungie have brought about to the loot system. So one, legendary weapons all drop with fixed rolls, which means that once you have a copy of a gun, then all subsequent copies of that gun are basically useless and are just used as infusion fodder. So the changes have both good and bad side to them, and I personally would lean more towards the bad, because Destiny 2 is a game that you're meant to play every single day, and these changes are taking away one of the massive draws that actually made players log in every single day and keep grinding away looking for those god rolls. It's 2017, year of the loot box. And it breaks my heart to say that, like most AAA games this year, loot boxes have also come to Destiny 2 in the form of bright engrams. Paying for a chance to win things that they could just give you in fucking game. But no. You have to buy a loot box with a small chance of winning something that you might actually like. They are the current bane of all gaming, and I fucking hate them. Yeah, so loot boxes in this game are bought with a currency called silver, which you buy for real world money. Although it is possible, but very rare, to actually get silver from a loot box in Destiny 2. It did happen to me once. I think I got 800 silver out of a loot box, which I used to purchase a custom skin for one of my exotic weapons, which looks amazing, by the way, but I just wish that you could just earn it. That'd be great, rather than having a tiny chance of getting it through a randomized loot system. Can you get loot boxes in Destiny 2 without paying real world money for them? And the answer is yeah. You're given one loot box every time you level up, which is not that great really. And what can you get in these loot boxes? Well, you can get fancy looking armor pieces, fancy looking legendary weapons. Both of these come at a lower light level and with the same perks that come on regular legendary weapons. So thankfully loot boxes in this game aren't pay to win. You also get legendary ships, legendary sparrows, both of which look great. You can get exotic weapon skins, which look phenomenal, by the way. And some really fucking cool emotes. These are fun, and I don't mind if people want to pay for them, but I personally have and never will pay 1 cent of real world money for any of this garbage. So while I do hate loot boxes and microtransactions in general, Destiny 2's versions are about as passable as it possibly gets. Now that's not except for one thing, and that's shaders. And let me tell you why I think Shadergate is real and Bungie should be ashamed. So in Destiny 1, you got free shaders for beating really difficult content. Destiny 2, however, doesn't have shaders in its loot table, except for the raid. You get shaders from fucking loot boxes. Shaders are now single use, which means that once you use them, that's it. You can't take a shader back off a character or a piece of armor and use it on something else. It's a one use only thing. If you take it off, then it's gone. This is a terrible choice. Either A, you earn shaders and should be able to use them on what piece of armor you want, change it over to a different piece of armor or even a different character. Or B, you buy them and therefore you own them. But no, Activision just went full greedy pig here and want you to keep on buying shaders. Oh, it's fucking gross. Secondly, and I think this is even worse, shaders come in packs of 3. Armor sets come in 4s. So if you find a shader that you think is awesome, chances are that you're only going to have 3 of those shaders. So then that'll mean that either one of your armor pieces doesn't match up, or as I'm sure Bungie / Activision want, you then go off and keep on buying loot boxes with the hope that maybe, just maybe, you may get a second pack of 3 shaders. And this is unacceptable and it's fucking predatory. And seriously, fuck you, Activision. Because I don't think Bungie chose this system, and I really do get the feeling that they had no choice here. But it doesn't matter, it's Bungie's game, and they're gonna have to shoulder the blame here. Fuck loot boxes and fuck the way AAA gaming is going. It's awful. We're on to my final thoughts about Destiny 2. It's a huge improvement over the launch of Destiny 1. It's night and day. Destiny 2 has a really good single player campaign with an excellent top heel, which is what most fans and haters of Destiny 1 wanted. Destiny 2 also has a lot more content with a longer single player portion, lost sectors, side missions, adventures, lots more public events, and much improved strikes. However, when you hold the launch of Destiny 2 up next to the end of Destiny 1's life cycle, this is where things get a little bit dodgy. So obviously Destiny 2 can't and won't have all of the content that a 3-year-old game will have, but it's also missing lots of things that I feel that should have been there, such as the Taken King's quest system, Rise of Iron's book system. Destiny 2 is missing private PvP matches. It's missing Rumble, which I think is unforgivable. That's a basic game mode that any game with PvP should have. And reasons to come back and play it every day, such as the daily missions and the bounties, PvE and PvP. Hopefully over time Bungie will keep on adding in content and giving players a reason to log on, but my major fear here is that Bungie and Activision will bundle in this content sneakily in with paid DLC, and if this happens, I really do believe that they'll damage Destiny 2's long-term life. But despite everything that I've just given out about, I do at the end of the day feel that Destiny 2 is an excellent first-person shoot-'em-up game that improves over the original in just about every single way, minus a couple of features missing. I also think that most people that buy this game, even if they don't play up to level 305, log in daily or weekly and keep on playing this game for months and months, I really do believe that you will get your money's worth out of it. So I personally think that Destiny 2 offers excellent value for money, even if you're not going to be a super hardcore player that's in it for the long haul. And of course, Bungie have also made one of the best feeling and best playing first person shoot-'em-ups out there. So if you do pick it up, I truly believe that not only will you get your money's worth out of it, but chances are that you'll also love every second of it. So, would I recommend picking up Destiny 2? If you hated Destiny 1, well then the answer is no. Destiny 2 will not change your mind at all. Don't buy it. If you're not sure, I'd say give it a go. This game is lots of fun. You're going to get at the very least 20-25 hours of an awesome game. At the end of the day, I think Destiny 2 is a fabulous playing game with some awesome game modes, some really fun single player content, some absolutely awesome multi-man content. Even though I've given up playing it for the time being, I'll definitely pick up the DLC and play more. So I really like this game, and if I had to score it out of 10, I'd give it a solid 8 out of 10. So guys, that is the end of my first ever solo OSW game review. I really hope that you enjoyed it. And please let me know in the comment section what you thought of it. So, what am I going to review next? Well, let me tell you, and it's a bit of a doozy. Next up, I'm going to review the game that for me kicked off my love affair with all of gaming. It is the first game in my favourite series of all time. A game that I hold very close to my heart. And of course it features my fucking girl Samus. That's right, I am going to review the original Metroid on NES. Classic. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I hope you'll join me again next time. So of course, for everyone who has made it through to the end of this video, take a boo, and always remember that a winner is you. See you guys.